Your story did not end with that relationship. There are still pages left in your life for God to write. All right, you've identified soul ties and emotional baggage. But what do you now do? You've cried, you've prayed, you've blocked, you've journaled, you've done everything. But still, their face still pops up in your mind more than you like. I mean, more often than you like. Let's be real. If your past relationship does not feel like a lesson to you, if you didn't learn anything from your past relationships, this video is for you. I mean, old wounds, angers that you didn't get rid of, all those expectations that were not met, they all add up and form an invisible baggage. They all add up and form a strong soul tie. And you can't enter a healthy relationship, you can't have a healthy relationship if you're still tied to your past, if you're still tied to a past relationship, and if you're still carrying some emotional baggage around. Today, I'll be sharing 6 practical steps how you can break off that soul tie and how you can properly get rid of that emotional baggage and heal. Remember that you don't heal what you pretend is not hurting. If you pretend that something is not hurting you, you can't go for healing. Now, the first step to break off a soul tie and heal is you renounce the tie with authority. Yeah, it's okay for you to pray. Yeah, you pray very well. Pray frequently and pray about it. Pray about that tie. But spiritual authority changes the atmosphere. So if you notice that you have a soul tie or you have a tie to somebody, pray about it. But pray about it from a spiritual authority standpoint. You break the soul tie in Jesus' name. Yeah. You speak it aloud while you're breaking it, while you're praying. Don't just mumble it in your heart or say it in your heart. You speak it aloud. Let it be, be vocal. Now, everything that you lost as a result of that relationship, I mean the hurtful relationship, the unhealthy relationship, you reclaim it. And the things that you gained, those habits or those inclinations that you gained as a result of that unhealthy relationship, you do away with them, you get rid of them, and you cancel every vow that you've made. Some people say, I cannot live without you. And when you eventually break off that relationship, you find yourself like dying. So you cancel every vow that you made. You cancel every statement that you made. Any statement that you know that this one is not for your own good. Know that soul ties are not only emotional, they are more spiritual than emotional. That's why I started with renouncing it with spiritual authority. And the second step to heal, the second step to get rid of emotional baggage and soul tie is you stop refeeding the soul tie. That soul tie that you're trying to break. If you keep feeding something that you want to kill, the thing will not die. So you can't pray and still be in that relationship subconsciously. You can't pray and still keep the playlist you made together. You can't be praying and still have their items lying around in your house. You can't pray and still have the pictures, the photos you took together, those intimate photos you people put together. You can't cast out what you keep inviting. So you can't leave a door open and expect that things will not come into your house. If you don't want it to come into your house, you close it. So you burn that bridge. You delete those chats. You archive or you delete those pictures. You unfollow them on social media. You close that door. That door that you opened, you close it. If you want freedom, you have to close that door and close it permanently because you can't heal in a space that is still open. You can't heal in a space that still invites what you're trying to get rid of. Now, the third way to get rid of soul ties and emotional baggage is you grieve honestly, but with hope. Yeah, you grieve the loss, grieve the things you went through, yes, but you grieve with hope. So it's okay for you to admit that you miss them. That's human inclination, it's not weakness. Yeah, you can admit that you miss them. Of course, I believe they should have some good parts. There should be some part of that relationship that you enjoyed, but you don't grieve as if you have no hope. Yeah, journal your pain. You cry if you need it. You cry if you need it, and from time to time you worship. Also, you worship through that pain, and above all, rise above it. Try as much as possible to rise above it. How can you do that? You find yourself in a community, in a life-giving community, a community that is ready to lift you up. You make sure that you're growing. Don't just be and isolate yourself from people. Find yourself in a community. There's a community I'm running, but it's for single ladies. I will put the link in the description and I'll put it in the pinned comment. So you find yourself in such uplifting communities, or such communities that will give you life, not just communities that you just amplify what you're feeling, or you just be alone and just decide to be. You can't heal alone. You can't heal in isolation. That is the truth. You can't heal in isolation. Now, the fourth way to get rid of soul ties and emotional baggage and properly heal is you replace the void. So that vacuum that was created, that void that was created when you broke off that tie, that emotional vacuum, that emotional space that was created when you got rid of those emotional baggage, you have to fill them up, because if you don't fill them up, your past will still sneak back in. So you fill them up with truth, fill them up with purpose-driven activities, purpose-driven routine. Have a routine. Be busy. Fill them up with community. Fill them up with things that you know that okay, these are life-giving, these are enriching to me. Keep your Be busy. Be busy with something. Be busy in service. Be busy if you're going to work. Be busy. So you don't just break free from a soul tie or an emotional baggage. You try as much as possible to stay free. And the only way you can stay free is by filling the void. So freedom is more than separation. Freedom is more than separation. It is more of transformation. So as you're moving towards freedom, yes, you've separated, yes, yes, and also move towards transformation. The fifth way you can get rid of soul ties and emotional baggage is you practice new patterns. I mean, healthy patterns. So you practice healing. Know that healing is not just a state or just is a scenario or a situation. Make it a way of life, make it a way of living, the way you live. So you speak kindly, you set boundaries with love and enforce those boundaries. You choose to be patient, don't be pressured by things or situations or expectations. You have a healthy routine. And one of the ways you can have a healthy routine, like I always say, is community and service. So find yourself in a community, an uplifting community, and give yourself to something. Be busy. Once you're busy, you won't think about them. Now, the sixth thing you should do when you're trying to get rid of emotional baggage and soul ties is you track your progress. You track your progress. You track what is happening to you. You get take note of how your progress is going, because you can't improve what you don't measure. You can't improve what you're not seeing. You can't improve what you're not taking note of how it's happening. You can only know that you're healing when you track your growth. You know where you're coming from. You can say where you are now, and you know that in the nearest future you're moving to the next level. Watch and see if those patterns are still there. And I promise you, I tell you that if you practice the previous 5 points that I mentioned, those patterns, you won't see them again. You will see signs that you're healing. So how do you not know that freedom and healing is settling in? How do you not know that you're already healing? What are the signs to look out for to know that you're already healing? The first one is that you think less of them. That is, their name does not sting or make your heart to miss a beat. Now the second sign that you're healing is that you breathe easier even in their presence. So you can be in their presence and you still be okay, you still be grounded. The third sign that you're healing is that your peace is no longer tied to closure. You're not interested in closure. You still feel peaceful. Now, the next sign that you're healing is you build instead of bleed. So you're no more interested in how they made you feel or what they made you feel. Rather, you're moving towards building, you're moving towards growth, you're moving towards development, you're moving towards improvement. Now, the next sign to show that you're healing is you stop stalking them or checking up on them. That's why I said you should unfollow them on all their socials. Yes, you might not forget, right? You might not forget their usernames and their phone numbers. But if you're moving towards growth, if you're busy moving towards building yourself, it gets to a point that you forget everything about them. Healing does not always look loud. It does not always sound flashy. It might not look so big and so noticeable. It might just be something that is as small as being able to breathe again. Your story did not end with that relationship. There are still pages left in your life for God to write. So that relationship ended does not mean that everything about you has ended. And let me say this emphatically. You're not too broken to be whole. You're not too damaged to be loved. It is not too late for you to start again. You're not too far gone for grace. So if you're still healing and you want support or you want somebody that will help you to heal, join my community on WhatsApp for single ladies and also join the waiting list for my free resource that is coming up soon. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. If this video spoke to your soul, if this video helped you to see light and give you freedom, don't just go away. Like the video so that it will get to many other people that need it. Comment and share it to someone that you know that is carrying a baggage, someone that you know that is still tethered to somebody, so that the person will be free as you've already received your own liberation. Subscribe if you're on this healing journey, because freedom is better in a community that has God at the center and growth as the goal. Remember that you deserve love that lifts you and not the ones that weigh you down. So until I come away next time, let's unpack together, live whole, love well, and work free. See you in my next video. Bye.